Okay, once you have the chemical shift set correctly, the next thing you can work on is to label the chemical shifts of each of the peaks so that later when you come back and look at your spectrum, you can actually see the exact chemical shift as opposed to trying to look at the axis here and kind of estimate what the chemical shift is. So we're trying to make it look like this, in which each of the peaks has a label on it. And the way you do that is to click on the Pick Peaks icon, and the spectrometer will try and do this for you. Sometimes it does a good job, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes it's best to just kind of start over at the beginning. So the way you do that is to click on this icon with the red X, and that will delete all the peak labels that the spectrometer put on it initially. All right, so this icon is the one that you're going to use to set the peak labels. So if you click on it, it should turn kind of an orangish yellow color. And what you want to do is click the left mouse button, hold it down, drag it, just like you did when you were zooming in. And this will create a little green box. And you want the tip of that, or you want that box to just kind of get the tip of the peak. Okay, so left click, drag, let go. Left click, drag, let go. Okay, now the reason you want to get just the tip of the peak is that if you left click, drag, and you go down like to the baseline where there's other peaks present, well, maybe even farther, you get a mess. Okay, that's not what we want. So we'll delete everything and start over. So just make the box around kind of the maybe the top 25% of the peak or something. And you can do multiple peaks at the same time if you want to. That one's off scale a little bit. There we go. But you can do them individually if you want. Now, you may be asking, why are there so many labels down here? Well, let's zoom in on those peaks and look at them. So you have to click on that icon again so that it's not colored anymore. Now we can zoom in on those peaks like we normally would. And what you see is that these are actually multiplets. Now, these are really strange looking multiplets, but that's okay. What we've done is we've labeled each of the peaks in that multiplet, and that's why you're seeing 4 labels in that case. So this is really helpful for when we come back to the spectrum later, because now when we write up our experimental paragraph, you can state the chemical shift of this as like 3.18 ppm, and you can be sure of that. And the last thing you want to do is click on this icon, which saves it, and it returns you to kind of the initial menu where you're choosing the different ways of processing this. And once you've saved it, you should be able to see the picking labels up here. Sometimes they don't show up, and that's fine. They're there in memory, they've been stored, and we'll get to them later when we actually plot the spectrum out.